Welcome to the rundown for 11/15/25. Welcome to the TDS Wellness Institute, where we will cure TDS, hopefully. Or at least convince Big Pharma to release the cure. One way or another, we got to get rid of this scourge of the century. It's turned our loved ones' brains to mush. Reddit monitors are dying left and right. Their brains are just, it's gross. It's gross. I mean, 4chan has the pictures. Maybe they'll release them, but it's disgusting, I must say. Quick ad read. As always, I am sponsored by me and you. Nothing else, nobody else ever. That is my pledge. That is the reality. No sponsors will ever influence my thinking one way or the other, whether it be, you know, a title land plot scam, a coupon scam, APAC, IPAC, Tupac, anyone. Not happening. You guys want to give donations? Okay, cool. Sub? Okay, cool. But no, I'm never going to turn on monetization and I'm never going to take an ad. And that's it. Period. So I was thinking today, you know what name I haven't heard in a while? Trey Reed. Whatever happened with that? Supposedly this black man was lynched, right? In Missouri or Mississippi. So why did the news just all of a sudden die out about him? Twitter was raging about that guy. And all of a sudden, poof. This guy's real fired up. He thinks there's a connection between Trey Reed and Charlie Kirk.
Second autopsy was done on Trey Reed's body, and we now know that this was not a suicide. Here's what we know. They found evidence of blunt force trauma to the back of his head. They also did not find any evidence that shows that he was hanging from a tree for hours. What they found through their autopsy was that he was possibly manually strangled and then placed in the tree after his death. We also now know that he had an altercation the day before with 4 white students, and the reason why is because he was coming to the defense of his younger sister, who was under attack.
You know who's saying none of this? His family. His family has said, and I quote, they want transparency on an independent autopsy results. Well, the family's paying for the independent autopsy. So if they want transparency on it, it's kind of up to them. So far, we've had the state coroner and the county coroner say, no, this poor young man was an unfortunate suicide. So in this day and age, you think both of those people are going to collude, knowing an independent autopsy is coming, and they're going to say the murder was suicide. It's not 1952. That's not going to happen today. Maybe you get the county coroner in on it. Maybe. If they're involved in the original murder, maybe. Why are they risking their jobs and freedom for this? So the cops are racist and both coroners are racist? I'm pretty sure both coroners are black. So strange. And then poof, all of a sudden the story just went away. No results, no answers. They're still waiting on this independent autopsy that I guess that football regard. I forget his name. That's how useless he was. Whatever. The moron that started all the kneeling. He paid for the autopsy. He was real vocal about everything that was going on. Haven't heard a word or an update since. Very strange. Now, there's been a new Epstein accuser of Trump. Okay. Well, I didn't have it ready. We'll use ground news. So, this new accuser. Oh, wait a minute. I did have it pulled up. Haha. I did do some prep. So, this is the lady here. And back in, I think she said 93. Let's let her tell it.
Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriend speaking out tonight. Stacey Williams, a former Sports Illustrated model who dated Epstein in the early 90s, has spent time with both Epstein and Donald Trump together. In one disturbing alleged incident, which Williams went public with last year before the presidential election, Williams says Trump groped her in front of Epstein at Trump Tower in 1993.
She went public with this before the election. Did nobody cover it? And why? Because they looked into it and it was probably bullshit. But they're out of things to throw against the man. They're pulling up everything they can at this point.
Here's what she told our Sunland Sarfati when she first broke her silence.
The second he was in front of me, he pulled me into him, and his hands were just on me and didn't come off. Then the hands...
So at the time, she's supposedly Epstein's girlfriend, right? And the very first time she meets Trump, she's saying that he just sucked her in like an octopus. Sounds a bit strange. Sounds a bit odd.
Started moving, and they were on the, on the side of my breasts, on my hips, back down to my butt, back up, sort of. Then, they were just on me the whole time. And I, sorry.
Think. How's the rest of the story go?
I froze.
Oh.
Williams also claimed that Epstein and Trump looked at each other and smiled during the alleged incident, which Williams says she now believes was coordinated and, quote, some kind of weird, twisted game. Trump.
That's why nobody covered it, because it was a garbage story. Makes absolutely no sense. She's a little bit better than that other one, the whack job that sued him, though. At least she knows the year it happened, 93. What have we come to? This is the crap they're trotting out against him because they can't come up with anything even remotely legit. He's done plenty wrong. Plenty wrong. But for some reason, they choose to focus on this stuff. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. I came across this on Twitter this morning. She doesn't see that there's a correlation between less people in regular class and more people in business and first class. There's less people in the back because more people, they moved up. That's how it works. The very poor, they're not moving up, but the middle class moved up, and that was the target of all the tax cuts and everything. So she's proving that the middle class tax cuts worked. Hollywood couldn't write this stuff, man. Seriously, they could not. I really didn't want to do this last one, but we've got to. It's so gross. Ugh, I want to friggin' puke just thinking about it. You can see the headline. Mandatory study on just why? Why? Do we really need to be telling 8th graders about Grindr? Why is school a place to deal with this stuff at all? Teach the biology of sex ed. Teach it's best to wait till marriage. Doesn't have to be from a religious point of view. That's just smart practice. Subjective gender ideology and fluid definitions of sexual orientation into public education. And yet they wonder why we have mental health issues at epidemic proportions with these kids. It's not complicated. All this gender ideology, fluid bullshit, it is all mental health issues. Yes, some of them would just be gay if you idiots would leave them alone. But instead, they're going to try to castrate themselves or bind their chesticles into non-existence. You're doing permanent damage to their brains, trying to reinforce this delusion. Stop the ride. I want to get off. Could you imagine if Kamala had won? This would be nationwide. Make no mistake about it. And look at the distribution. Why is the left so scared to write about this? Shouldn't they be celebrating it? Very strange. Very strange. I don't think I agree with that. This should be over here. Like in the middle. Yeah. I thought this would be center right. No. Not about right there, I'd say. Folks, things gotta change. We can't keep going down these pathways. We're losing these children. Anyways, speaking of children, mine are on their way over. So, adios.